All right, here is the second part of the daily lesson today. Still working with those box plots and still thinking about analyzing them more than really creating them today. So here, this one's already created, and it wants us to name the following statistical parts of the dot plot. So it looks like we have down here a very, very small value. It looks like it's probably around 7 or so, so that is our minimum of 7. Again, this box plot is showing the amount of Tootsie Pops that someone can hold in one hand. So let's keep going here. Quartile 1 looks like it's about right here, which looks like it's probably close to probably 18. If I'm really careful here, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yes, it looks like 18. And we have our median of 20. Looks pretty straightforward there. And then 21, 22, 23, 24. Then it looks like 22 for quartile 3. And then the maximum, somebody was able to hold almost 45. We'll say about 42 is probably accurate. So again, this shows the number of Tootsie Pops people can hold in one hand. So let's think about what we can say about the center of the data. The center of the data is our box. And remember, this represents the middle 50%. So that's half of our data bunched up just between 18 and 22. So that's half our data all bunched up there. So what statements can you make about the center of the data? We can say most people, about half, because we know that it is represented by 50%, most people can hold between 18 and 22 in one hand. And we know that because that's our box. This represents the middle 50% of our data, or most of our data is bunched up over just those 4 numbers, right? So it's not really spread out that far. It's pretty bunched up. What can you say about the extremes or outliers of the data? We know at least one person can hold 42 in one hand, but it's not certain most people can do this. Because we already know, it looks like there's only one value out here for 42 compared to the 50% of the data that lies in our box. That this is more of the norm. This is what's typical, right? This is the typical or the normal. So we could say that this is kind of the abnormal out here. Or even down here, this is abnormal, right? We could also say at least one person can only hold 7, which isn't very much compared to what the normal amount is. So we have Jane who describes this thing, and she wants to say, okay, one person can hold as many Tootsie Pops. We're trying to decide if we agree or disagree with that. Well, we said that as well, so we could probably agree with that portion. The number of Tootsie Pops people could hold was really different and spread about equally from 7 to 42. We might need to come back to that and think about that one a little bit. And then it says about half of the people could hold more than 20 Tootsie Pops. Well, that part we definitely know isn't true. Because if we look at more than 20, here, we have no guarantee that this is 50% of the data. We don't know that. We know there's only 25% of the data here, but we have no idea. So we might have to agree with some of this. So we could say, I agree that at least one person can hold 42. We should at least agree with that. I'll put 42 Tootsie Pops. I agree that at least one person can hold 42. However, we should disagree about the equally spread. We cannot tell if they are equally spread from 7 to 42. In fact, and that should be 2 words, put a space between those two. In fact, 50% of our data is bunched up between 18 and 22. We know that because of the box in our box and whisker plot. And so to say about 1/2 of the people could hold more than 20 Tootsie Pops, we should disagree with that as well. And this fact right here kind of does that for us. So as you move on to the next one, I want you to think about how you can describe those centers. Now you're going to be looking at the speeds of some birds compared to some land animals. Don't forget as you get started on this to put them all in order if they are not already. If they are, you can move forward and get the job done quickly. And then you have some quick analyzing questions, some guiding questions to help you analyze those different animals from each other.